Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Today we're going to talk about how Vechain can get to $3 by this time next year. That's right, you heard it right. $3 by this time next year. Now, a lot of things have to go right. And the last half of these things will actually be very beneficial for all of crypto. But if you want $3 plus by this time next year, these things have to happen. One, Vechain Vetho burn has to continue to increase. So I think that will actually happen with things actually ramping up. Two, there needs to be a big North American partner. Now, based on Jason Rockwood's tweets, I think that's somewhat likely to actually happen. Is it Walmart? Is it Amazon? Is it Target? Is it Hobby Lobby, Lowe's, whatever? I have no idea. But hopefully one will actually come out and they'll actually announce it. Three, they actually need to find either a vaccine or a cure for COVID-19, which I think they will do by this time next year. They're going around all the red tape to get one out as soon as possible. So by this time next year, that should actually die down and logistics should be able to go back to normal. So Vechain can expand as was planned before all this craziness actually happened. So those are the three things that actually need to happen. And I think those things are likely to happen. I do think, that one big partner will come around by this time next year. We'll know about it. The cure for COVID will actually be there, and Vetho burn will increase as a result. So those three things. But now we have the market things. Now there's also three things. One, this is all started by Donald Trump actually firing the guy he appointed, Geoffrey Bremen from the Southern District of New York. That might not seem to you to have much effect on crypto or Vechain, but it's really the guy he nominated to replace him, and that's Jay Clayton. Jay Clayton is the head of the SEC. Now, he's fairly anti-crypto, and as long as he remains the head of the SEC, we ain't getting anywhere with that Bitcoin ETF, and that could be a hindrance to our growth. So, however, if he actually gets confirmed for this Southern District of New York attorney, he can no longer be the head of the SEC. Honestly, Jay Clayton has been a fairly successful SEC head. Aside from crypto, which he's been anti against, basically, he's been a pretty successful head of the SEC. Now, with him gone, that leaves a vacancy, and there's one person that actually needs to fill that vacancy, and that person is Hester Pierce, also known as Crypto Mom. Now, when the SEC actually rejected the crypto ETFs, she actually wrote a dissenting opinion. She thinks the SEC was being overbearing and was basically doing things that they actually shouldn't do. I totally agree with her on that specific point. So if she actually, who's really pro crypto, gets into the chair as the SEC head, then we definitely got something to go on. I think if she gets in and she's the head of the SEC, then eventually she'll have sway on that commission. And because she'll have sway on that commission, they will eventually just basically allow will allow a Bitcoin ETF. And allowing a Bitcoin ETF is good for all of crypto. Yeah, it's only Bitcoin, but Bitcoin runs the entire market. So, you can kind of do the math and see what that actually means. Essentially, like, she can sway one or two votes. They'll get the majority to pass the Bitcoin ETF. Bitcoin ETF passes. That's a signal to institutional and investors to actually sort of FOMO in. Well, it's a signal that it's okay to buy Bitcoin, and they'll start buying Bitcoin more often. That will be a signal to some retail investors when they see the price start going up to actually buy as well. And that will make a really, really big bull run, possibly the last big bull run of cryptocurrency, which hopefully all of us will be a part of. So I think Bitcoin will easily break through its all-time high and go much, much higher than it was actually before. And it'll be a more sustainable thing because regulations will actually be on crypto's side this time if the Bitcoin ETF is actually passed. So that's how crypto could actually moon by this time next year if those sequence of events happen. And if that happens and all the Vechain stuff happens with the partnership and everything, I think all that could suddenly boost Vechain up to $3 or more. Now, you'll probably want to sell it. If it actually gets up to that much, it's like 400x. And yeah, if it suddenly bursts up like, 400x, it's going to retrace. Even though if there's utility, it's going to retrace. It's not going to be able to maintain that specific price, but you'll have a chance to sell it. And even if it does retrace, it'll still be a lot higher than it is now if those events happen. Now, I'm not saying that those events are likely to happen. I don't really know who's going to replace Jay Clayton as head of the SEC, and I don't know if he or she is going to be pro-crypto. I'm just hoping that those sequence of events happen. I'm just hoping that Hester Pierce replaces Jay Clayton because we know that Hester Pierce is very, very pro-crypto, and she is the one that actually wrote up that safe harbor rule for crypto. So That's how Vechain can get to $3 plus. All those things need to happen. Obviously, the ETF thing will benefit all of crypto. We will be very rich with Vechain, but most people who are invested in crypto will be fairly well off when those things actually happen. So let's cross our fingers and hope those sequence of events happen, because we could be very well off next year if that actually happens. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.